Hey, hello. This is Katie Juanita with Harmonizing Journey to Realignment Seminars and Sessions. And today we are going to look at Evolution of the Soul, Part 7 and HJR Insight. And many may have been wondering why I've been looking a lot at esoteric Christianity slash Kabbalistic initiation science. For after all, Chelonic science is the original organic first creation mechanic. Why put time and energy into anything else? The reason is that we have lived many ages, many lifetimes, evolving through the esoteric Christianity of initiation science. This occurred whether you were born in Asia, Africa, or the Americas. Each culture has its own version of these teachings that formed after the fall of Atlantis 11,500 years ago. As usual, take what you like and leave the rest. If you have a different view on the topic today, please share in the comments below for me to learn from you, as well as the others in the group. Esoteric Christianity, Hierarchy of the God Worlds is the main topic today. The fall of Atlantis was more than a landmass, as you know, from those of you that are looking have read Voyagers. But in case you haven't, the fall of Atlantis was more than a landmass submerging under the ocean. It marked a massive change in the Earth's life force and all life on it. We went from being a base 12 planetary life form to a base 10 planetary life form. Over time, this caused even more compromises as we lost the connection to our planetary and personal, our 12th dimensional Maharata Christos avatar self. This marked the end of the Atlantean fourth epoch and the beginning of the fifth Post-Atlantian Arian epoch that we are living out today. I want to stress that I'm not saying to follow, I just want to make sure that's stressed. I'm not saying to follow the esoteric Christianity initiation science teachings. Chelonic science is the science to follow to the letter. But I am saying to have an understanding of them. See if any parts can still be helpful if you are struggling with any of the chaos techniques and leave the rest. According to Steiner, esoteric Christianity, or the Kabbalistic teachings, were established by the 7 Rishi survivors of Atlantis, who first left the main central area of Atlantis and established themselves for a long time in Logos Atlantis, which we now call Britain. There appeared Ireland, England, Scotland. There appeared to be a combination of Anu Melchizedek and Magi human grail lines working together to heal distortions and evolve into their Christos avatar selves. Eventually, the 7 Rishi groups moved to Asia, Egypt, and the Americas to establish initiation schools. But by the fall of Atlantis, the original Christos Maharata teachings could no longer be taught because we could no longer hold our D12 Christos avatar consciousness. This was the birth of the Kabbalah of our current initiation science. And we still have vestiges of the Christos in the initiation science. They actually use the term Christos. But they look at it just in terms of God the Father of the earth plane, basically, or matrix. At first, when humanity was still pretty awake and everyone had the opportunity to learn, but as humankind shut down, these teachings went underground, becoming secret societies. I'm really summarizing. Obviously, it's more than what I'm saying. Those in these secret societies became the rulers of their nations. Each epoch era had its religious leaders who handed down the teachings and the rulerships through their bloodlines. And that's in Chelonic science. We talk about the Magi Grail kings lineage. And that shifted into the Anu Melchizedek, and Anu Melchizedek is pretty much what most people's biology is at this point, which I've talked about previously. Over time, these bloodlines became corrupted by Draco-Leviathan forces, which we talked about that before. They could no longer understand the meaning of the teachings. They became a dysfunctional elite cabal families that we are dealing with today. They do not want to give up power, so they have been engineering ways to stay in power by cultivating, in my opinion, obviously, but I do have facts to back it up. Cultivating the socialist democratic rulership system, aka democratic system of government over many generations. Okay, this has been a real huge invasional takedown. Brainwash city, by the way. Anyway, and I was there too with everybody else. When we understand this, we can step back and see the organic root teachings and the altered fallen aspects of the teachings to understand why we are as self-sovereign individuals and as the all that is, God source first, eternal Ah-yah A'ya. We have had lifetimes of being quite successful in the initiation sciences, and others not so much. We have lifetimes where we made commitments to these family groups that caused us to become compromised. We followed because of the, again, organic truth within the dysfunctional system of the esoteric Christianity, because there's a lot of organic roots to it. We may even have been born into these families, taking on their distortions that we are now having to clear. Oh boy, are we ever clearing them. My goal is to illuminate the distortions, bring out the organic aspects, and even further restore the original Christic teachings we lost, we lost even before our current third seeding began. We are, after all, Humpty Dumpty putting the pieces back together again. We will first illuminate the hierarchy of the God world's distortions. And this is going to probably be tough for a lot of people that do the, well, probably the philosophical and the anthroposophy. I never say it right. Anyway, the followers of Steiner's work. Okay. The esoteric God world hierarchy is a fallen gold order seraphim group of the draconian races of the phantom matrix. And this talks about in Voyager's 1 page XLIX. You want to get more detail. Archangel Michael, the Catholic Church, are of that lineage. I do not recommend following the Catholic Church. I really don't. Not to say that there's not, again, organic good pieces to it, but as a whole, I wouldn't follow the Catholic Church. When the animal Melchizedek of seeding 3 broke, and again, that's Voyager history, but again, a lot of our biology is at this point predominantly animal Melchizedek. Of seeding 3 broke away, they were supposed to be following the law of 1, under redemption, Christic redemption, Anunnaki were under redemption contract, Christic redemption contracts. They let it go. They got caught up in the fallen God world structure that their Jehovian, Anu Elohim, Anunnaki ancestors were using and still are. They're still under that phantom matrix to me. But again, the root is organic. We need to understand that. Okay, so I've spent months sitting with Steiner's work on esoteric Christianity to see how their fallen hierarchy fits in the first creation map of the God world. I struggled with it, thinking I had it, then I didn't, and I realized now I don't have it. May still not have it, but so far my gut is holding to this enough that I'm publicly saying it. So I see a correlation between our parallel antiparticle and base particle realities throughout their fallen hierarchical order. Our harmonic, what we say is our harmonic universe, what I'm kind of seeing is, excuse me, equals the antiparticle in the density plane aligns with our particle-based world. Both are intertwined naturally, but they have fallen out of alignment in our system. I don't, excuse me. Sorry. The fallen cannot create anything new, right? They can only up and modify the original light body structure. Again, we talked about this before. Then, knowing how the mechanics were engineered initially, can we put the pieces within the earth and ourselves back together again? I mean, that's always the question. How can we, generations upon generations, lifetimes upon lifetimes, working with its initiation science, some good aspects of it, some compromised, some got even more compromised. But how can we take the work that we've done and then bring it into the organic original teachings? So, harmonic universe / density 1 incarnate earth. That's, again, looking at the natural organic stairway to heaven. So in their third hierarchy of the God world, which is of the angels, archangels, and archai, represent the harmonic universe 1 antiparticle parallel earth. I was like, light went on that one. It was like, oh, that explains a lot. I tried to get it to fit in the other density planes, almost thinking I had it, but no, parallel. The antiparticle world is more etheric and silicate based, moving faster in time. It would appear to its magnetic based earth counterpart as a more highly evolved. Okay. The fourth hierarchy represents our density 1 particle magnetic counterpart to parallel earth. So basically this, which is still, as far as esoteric Christianity goes, is still evolving along with its parallel, right? We're still cycling through and developing. Harmonic universe density 2 Solterra correlates to, or the second hierarchy, their second hierarchy of the Excusiae, Dynamis, and Curiatites represents the density 2 Terra Particum or particle base. The first hierarchy of the thrones, cherubim, and seraphim represents the harmonic 2 antiparticle parallel terror. And again, I tried to make it fit higher and it just wasn't fitting. So their God worlds are entirely removed from harmonic universe density / density 3 and 4 of the Eka-Veka time matrix. So that's pretty compromised, right? They talk about there was an earlier psych time, but they don't, that's all they say. They don't get into anything above the seraphim. And the Old Testament is basically this God world. Okay. With all of what they talk about and how the esoteric science fits into that. And losing my voice sound. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. The astral D4 body of harmonic density 2 Terra. I've got a new microphone. Actually a real microphone I'm trying to use. Okay. Secondly, okay, at its roots, the esoteric Christianity initiation science was designed to help the angelic human and the animal Melchizedek, probably more so the animal Melchizedek, because they were more compromised, evolve back to their density 2 soul level. It was done by preparing the person's astral, etheric, and physical bodies to align. The astral is the seat of the soul, right? The etheric body is our D3 mental body. The soul, D4 density 2 terrace, semi-silicate, and semi-matter D1 atomic structure interfaces with the heart chakra near the line of the zodiac, right? We can get that part into it. The astral body represents the being of the cosmos that evolves through thinking, feeling, and willing within the harmonic density 1 earth body. Okay. The egoist, blood, root, soul must now balance transforming the personal interest of the individuated I to universal interests. Okay. As the astral body moves from personal interests of the lower astral of passions and desires, our root chakra base, passions and desires, to the higher astral universal interests, it becomes less dark and dense and more open, luminous, virginal Sophia. That's where actually Sophia comes into play again, of the D5 angelic realm. Get Steiner information. One then is able to begin to embody the universal virtues, attitudes, or this is now going more into Keylonic science, because the esoteric of Christianity has very limited virtues, like 4 or 5, something like that, small number. In Keylonic science, we get into 15 actual virtues and some more details with that. And then, of course, we have our attitudes and responsibilities and mastery. And we put them all together and form more VARs, VARS. The initiation sciences were essential for those awake enough to be an initiate during the earlier years after the fall of Atlantis. The net field referenced in Voyagers initially blocked the connection between our etheric D3 mental body and our D4 astral density harmonic 2 self to protect the soul host transplant seeding 2 and 3, which I talked about in Evolution of the Soul Part 5. And it's, of course, in the Voyagers book as well. The initiation sciences helped many to reestablish their connection with their soul density harmonic 2 self. Through this initiation science, the artificial net could be dropped as the seeding 3 souls host transplants could disengage from their soul host group and re-engage with their original soul family. Once this connection was reestablished, the natural ascension of the 12-stranded DNA could activate. Okay. Unfortunately, right, the net became overrun, right, by specific fallen forces, which became stronger, and the lower D4 astral was even more compromised. The followers of the initiation sciences did their best, and many made it through. There's many cycles where we were able to, at that time, it was safe to send back into Terra, and then cycling on up. But the bloodlines were still deteriorating as the earth grids deteriorated, with the inbreeding of the fallen race lines, bringing in demonic fallen phantom matrix 8-sphere entities. The D3 etheric thinker became, again referenced in the previous evolution of the soul, the D3 etheric thinker became more infused with the physical body as the Luciferic abstract mind impulse evolved within the human brain. This evolution had pros and cons. The physical form developed to a higher level of abstract thinking of the intellect, allowing people to discern and make their own free will choices. Okay, because remember, before we were very atavistic, download, open channel to the universal because we were fully connected. The further compromise of the time matrix. Thirdly, as this time matrix became increasingly compromised, we became vulnerable to the demonic phantom matrix forces without, we didn't have the discernment capability. Really opened us up in Lemuria. We had our asses handed to us in Lemuria. The Luciferic impulse of abstract thinking has allowed us to question and discern. So we got our asses handed to us. We also had the Luciferic impulse inserted. The downside, okay, so the questioning, we could then stop and go, okay, is this impulse coming in, this energy coming in, connecting to our eternal being or to something else? But the downside, sorry. Oh, okay. The downside is that it ended the era of following our innate atavistic clairvoyance to bring through divine wisdom, a precious gift we had as 12-stranded angelic humans. We now had had to think through the outer world around us, starting to sense, feel, develop those apartheid receivers into this realm. What is true and what is not, what's false. Another downside to this ability was that it caused us to become stuck in abstract, luciferic, dead thinking. So while it gave us that ability to start discerning in its own merit without connecting to keeping the connection to spirit or to who we are, we've developed this abstract luciferic dead thinking, and Sandra kind of got into a lot with that dead thinking. This dead luciferic abstract thinking has divided us from our soul and spirit self, taking us into the cold harmonic science of atheistic transhumanism and global socialist democracy. Is there a God? That's the question. That was the big question that the Luciferic impulse brought through during Lemuria. Which, if your question, is there a God, is there really my eternal being? Another way of saying it is probably more accurate. The abstract mental intellect cannot ever answer that question. That is where the Luciferic impulse introduced during the Lemurian epoch comes in. In the esoteric teachings, it is considered the fall of man. While it gave certain abilities, it was also when we fell and became more densified and more connected into the physical body than into our eternal being. Enhanced more breeding and all that. By remembering the deeper connections to who we are as soul and spirit, meditating on that connection allows the power of the intellect to become an asset, not a hindrance. I would add to that the techniques with Keonic science that helps with making that connection and turning within to be able to then go vertical. Yeah, vertical, not horizontal, vertical. And then with that vertical connection, we can then span out and feel out what's in alignment and what's not. Okay. In summary, can we utilize the Luciferic impulse positively to discern the good, bad, and ugly and make our spirit connection. Through the thinker, feeling, and willing impulses, we find who we are as the all that is, God Source First Eternal, Ah-yah A'ya. Not in a self-centered, base root chakra, passions, and desires way, which was an issue at certain time periods that we really got stuck in. But making the link up across the net veil to our harmonic density 2 soul self, opening the door to our spirit self. And utilizing with that the bypass system, which I've talked about in other workshops, other sessions. Now, understand that the angelic realm is our antiparticle parallel self. That's kind of huge. Boom. Sadly, according to the current KDDL information, has become severely compromised. In fact, pretty much all. It's bad. In fact, the old initiation science connects us to a fallen time matrix system, which is why HGR is, and again, utilizing the bypass system of the Krystal Bridgeway system, integral bridge, 7 bridges flows. So yeah, I definitely utilize the KDDL, Tantria Hura teachings. Sliders material is part of it too, in creating the HDR, Harmonic and Trinitary alignment. Hopefully, my perspective will help others discern the esoteric Christianity initiation science teachings. The next evolution of the soul series will explore the development of the relationship between the soul and the intellect through the current Post-Atlantian Arian EPOCH. Which I think is important in learning how our intellect has evolved, how they affected the different epochs, and why you can't necessarily go back in time to some of these quote-unquote religious, spiritual ways of doing things, because they fit a different time and they don't fit now, and they can actually be harmful. So we'll talk about that in the next session. HDR services. So I invite you to check out Harmonizing Journey to Realignment, HDR private sessions. Private sessions. And the HDR Grid Keepers Community Membership Program. We utilize the organic first creation chelonic science and the Tantria Hura spirit body bypass teachings to help you make your personal connection with your multidimensional clan family, Ah-yah A'ya. We journey twice a month and meet once a month for group discussions on various areas of chelonic science. So we do the journey work twice a month, and then we have a discussion group once a month, looking at chelonic science technicals, looking at what it means to be an HDR grid keeper, and we'll be incorporating more as we go along. And the sessions are recorded so far, so new people coming in can very easily catch up. There's lots of content, right, for people. And there's a private Discord chat for members. The cost is only $10 a month or $112 a year. This is a $250 monthly value for only $10 a month. And just a heads up reminder that this coming Saturday, June 24th, excuse me, come out of my mouth, right? June 21st, this Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. So New York, Atlanta time. We will have a YouTube live introductory session. This is the second time I'm going to try this. So it's been a couple years since the last time I did it. Normally, as you know, I go through Zoom, but we're testing it out, seeing how it goes. So I hope that you guys can attend and share in the experience and learn what a harmonizing journey to realignment session is about. And please like, if you like my content, please like. That's so important. If you like this content, to like, to share, to comment, to subscribe, whether it be to the YouTube channel or if you're viewing the Harmonizing Journey blog, please, 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 please subscribe and share and like. And I'd love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, so we can grow together. Also, please check out our Waking in Elenia series, a sci-fi fantasy about who you are as a multidimensional being living in a 3D experience. And, you can get that through my website, or get the link. It's Amazon for the US, and I'm spacing completely right now on, but anyway, when you click on the link, anywhere you're at, you can get the other one. I actually prefer the other one, even though it's facing what's called right now, for purchase. And again, KDOC. Much love and peace. Again, KDOC Manita, the HDR navigator, helping others to connect with their multidimensional plan family. I also included, well, there'll be a link for the live YouTube this Saturday, and then I also put a link for the Evolution of the Soul YouTube playlist, because we've got quite a few of them now, and they kind of get referenced, and to really, I mean, they stand alone on their own, but again, I don't like to keep repeating over and over again stuff that I've already said. So you go back if there's any area you're like, you can go back and watch if you're interested. And I think that is it. Thank you. Love you guys. Hope to see you Saturday. And you take care.